as we know, Tyron Smith went down to injury. Now, Teven Jenkins was brought to the Chicago Bears to be the Chicago Bears left tackle. That's what he was drafted to do. That's a position. He played mostly right tackle most of his life, but he was brought here to be the Chicago Bears starting left tackle. With the new regime, that didn't work out. And of course, with all the trade rumors around Teven Jenkins' name, the conversation that could possibly be on the table, and the question for this video: could the Chicago Bears be a real trade partner with the Dallas Cowboys, especially knowing that they just lost their starting left tackle in Tyron Smith? And not to say that I think Teven Jenkins is the piece. It could be a guy like Reiff that moves over there as well. But I think that the Bears have a couple of pieces, right, that you feel like you could put out there and maybe bring back. If you're talking about Reiff, right, maybe you're talking about a 5th or a 6th round pick. I think if you're talking about Teven Jenkins, if you feel good about him, if you feel like you're going to get some tape on him, maybe you get up to a 4th or a 3rd round pick. But the one thing that we know about Ryan Pace is that he wants to build this team through the draft. He wants to build this team with the longevity. He doesn't want to have to go out there and just buy free agents. He doesn't want to have to go out there and do what he had to do this season and bring in a guy like Michael Schofield, guys like Reiff, because you didn't feel like you had enough talent here. He wants to be able to build through that draft, stockpile those draft picks. And while I don't think the Chicago Bears are tanking this season like many people do, while I don't think the Chicago Bears are going out there with a devoid of talent like many people do, I do think that there is a possibility that they have come to accept the fact that, okay, we have enough here that if Teven Jenkins and or Reiff were a possibility on the table to get some draft capital back, that we could move forward and still be okay this season with the offensive line that we have now. As far as they have gone through it, right, I don't think that Teven Jenkins is going to get moved at this point, right? You're going into the season. It seems like he's the guy that's going to get that right guard starting position. Neither Schofield nor Reiff, well, not really Reiff. Reiff wouldn't be the guy that you would look at there, but neither Michael Schofield really just hasn't done enough for you to say, okay, he's got the job. To me, neither is Teven Jenkins, but I think Teven's the guy that the coaching staff is really keying in on and looking at and saying, that's the guy that we want starting because he's the younger talent. He's going to be the longevity talent. If he can play that position, I think he is the talent that you want in that position anyway, because you've got Braxton Jones at left tackle you feel good about. Maybe Larry Borum's able to do some things at right tackle that you feel good about. And if you have Teven Jenkins doing things at right guard that you feel good about, that's 3 offensive line positions for you that are extremely young. You want your offensive lines to be younger. You want to move forward with offensive lines that are younger, that are going to be able to grow with Justin Fields, understand his intangibles, understand his technicalities. If he makes a move, they make a move, things like that, right? And so that's why you want to keep a guy like Teven Jenkins on this team, but I think Reiff could be up in the air. And here's the thing. You have to have the conversation around, listen, the Cowboys are talking about protecting Dak Prescott. They've doubled down on Dak Prescott as their starting franchise quarterback. They have paid him. He's gone through some injury issues. They don't want him dealing with injury issues. So now you're talking about a team that could be in a situation where they're getting a little bit desperate, and maybe they're willing to give a little bit more than the norm to get somebody in there that can protect him. So, like I said, you guys let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Want to get to you guys' comments as well. Where do you guys feel the Bears could be as a trade partner with the Dallas Cowboys? Because you've got now at the end of it, right, you would be thin at the tackle position for sure. If you feel like Teven Jenkins could be a move, maybe even Larry Borum's a name you throw in that conversation, right? Although he's played more so right tackle in his career, not as much left tackle. But if you feel like there's a move there to be made, right, what do you think the Bears could get back for a guy like Teven Jenkins? What do you think the Bears could get back for a guy like Reiff? And then at the end of it all, right, would you make that kind of move? It would leave you extremely thin at the tackle position. If you had any injuries there, you would basically have to go out and scour the world to try and find you somebody else, because at that point, right, Reiff right now is your swing tackle. he's still at an extremely important position for you if you're the Chicago Bears. He's not in a position where you can just say, we don't need him, he can be a throwaway. But if you feel like you're getting maybe some higher draft compensation, maybe even you're able to get a fourth for Riley Reiff in that situation because they are so desperate to see protect Dak Prescott at that quarterback position. Maybe they get a little bit too desperate and they give you a little bit more. Would you make that trade? I understand there's some people in the comments talking about Riley Reiff. We haven't seen enough of them. We haven't seen any of them really. And that, he's not going to be a key contributor to this offensive line, but that swing tackle position is absolutely an important position for your offensive line. He's the guy that comes in a pinch. He's the guy that comes in when guys need a breather. He's still at a very important position for your offensive line. So moving on from him could be detrimental to the offensive line this season, but will it be detrimental to this team in the future? That's where the question comes in. That's what you have to ask yourself. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments below. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments here, man.